That's why you gotta have a camera. Because they be lying. Police be lying.
This driver was pulled over for allegedly driving with a phone in his hand.
Trooper Deanna with the doorstep patrol. The reason for the stop, notice when you came up to the red light, you had your phone in your hand. You got your license?
So what happened when he told the officer that not only did he not have a phone in his hand, but he had video evidence of that because he has a dash cam?
I got a camera and a phone.
Did you see the guy
I
standing
did not have my phone in my hand.
Okay. All right, hang tight.
What did the officer do? He gave him a ticket.
All right, you are going to get a ticket. Any questions, call this number, paid on to that website. Sign here, send you a copy of the citation. I'll make you guilty.
My phone in my yard tripping for real.
So what exactly can we do? What is our recourse if the police lie about us? Well, if you don't have a dash cam, you're pretty much screwed. And even if you do, this cop didn't even care. Why didn't this police officer care, and why was he talking so fast? Is this an example of racial profiling? Or, hear me out, is this an example of an out-of-control government, drunk on taxpayer money, just going through the motions and burning as much of that taxpayer money as they possibly can? As it turns out, this wasn't just any traffic stop. This was basically a traffic safety enforcement task force who swarmed this town in Georgia.
On Wednesday, there was heightened police presence due to the Thunder Task Force operation, where the Warner Robins Police Department and the Governor's Office of Highway Safety stopped drivers at undisclosed checkpoints. Most of their focus was on those speeding, driving under the influence, or not wearing seatbelts.
As they kicked this off, the police chief there held a press conference.
I'm Chief Wayne Fisher of the Warner Robins Police Department. We are here in reference to the kickoff of Operation Thunder Task Force, which is part of the Governor's Office of Highway Safety HEAT program. We are partaking in and hosting this event, which began this morning at around 8:30 this morning. There will be various road checks and mobile enforcement points that take place.
So what this basically is about is money. The Governor's Office of Highway Safety grant that's given to law enforcement agencies around the state of Georgia. And they get that money just out of thin air, right? Best as I can tell, following the money trail, this is all federal money, federal taxpayer dollars. All these different states, including Georgia, once a year, they apply for all these grants. And we're talking about millions and millions and millions of dollars. They're allocated for highway safety. What do they end up going to? For the most part, paying police officers and buying police cars. And if you look into it, I'll link everything. They have all these conditions, and a lot of it centers around when they buy all these new police cars with federal money, they have to follow all these rules, including they have to maintain the HEAT color scheme on the vehicles that are participating in the project, which means bought by the money. These vehicles shall be black with silver gray lettering, see specification sheet. And then when you dig deeper into it, you can actually break it down by county in Georgia and by city, and they have all these different programs. And these detailed applications that they send to the feds, they have to show all the statistics, all of the tickets that they're writing, and so on. Well, they're getting all of this federal money. And in doing that, they have to run these operations. They have to pull over a bunch of cars. They have to create statistics. So it's about money first and foremost.
Distracted driving enforcement, which is what we're doing today. We bring them, they're all highly trained. They're out there calling out violations to the officers who can write the citations. It's merely about safety.
One of the reporters in this press conference brings up quotas. So the sheriff shoots that down and says this has nothing to do with quotas.
Yes, there's absolutely no quota that's associated with this. Our officers' actions and intent is, as we stated, to be aggressive in our enforcement to the DUIs, distracted driving, and again, speeding and the aggressive driving actions that take place through that as well. It is not quota driven.
But if we look at the written requirements that these police agencies are required to follow in order to keep getting this gravy train, it's typical authoritarian doublespeak. While they don't use the word quota, they include quotas. It says heat activity hours are a condition of the project. That means they have to pull people over. They'll no longer reimburse these cops just based on the salary of an individual. You can imagine how the reports were in the past. Police officers who are assigned to heat activity hours, pulling people over, must provide documentation showing hours worked, hours of pulling people over, and hours worked on the project, pulling people over, along with enforcement activity monthly. documentation that they have been pulling people over. Grantees receiving funds from GOHS must submit programmatic and claim reports monthly. Monthly reports must document and support the objectives and activities outlined in the grant. They must document the fact that they are out there pulling people over. It is about money, and it is about quotas.
Put on your seatbelt, slow down, put that phone in the glove box, and don't drink and drive or don't do drugs and drive, and you'll have no problem with us this weekend. Otherwise, you may end up in the Houston County Jail.
So they're given all this money to set up these checkpoints, not looking for any person in particular, but just a dragnet. The Fourth Amendment prohibits our government from just seizing us without any reasonable suspicion that is particular to us that we have committed some crime. Ostensibly, they have to be pulling people over because they're observing them committing traffic violations. So they have all these cops standing out on the side of the road who are watching. But what if they lie? How do we even know that they're telling the truth? Everybody has a phone in their car. They could just say, yeah, I saw you on your phone. When in reality, they were judging you based on some other reason. Maybe your bumper stickers, the type of car you were driving, the color of your skin, whatever. And that brings us to what happened to this guy. He was an Uber driver. He had just dropped off his kid earlier. He picked up a passenger, and he's driving perfectly safe. He's not speeding. Fortunately, he has a dash cam recording everything. As he pulls up to this checkpoint/dragnet area, both he and his passenger observe all these cops standing on the side of the road.
Personalized high school curriculum built around each student's individual needs. Get on track and earn a high school diploma and achieve your dreams. Enroll today at innovationshs.org.
As he sits at the light, he knows that he has not done anything wrong, yet he's still nervous. He has that feeling like they're still going to try to get him for something.
So they're watching people running the light too. They walkie-talkies, letting the cop that's sitting over there know.
And as he safely pulls away, once the light turns green, up behind him pulls a Georgia State Police SUV, and it pulls him over.
Heavy-duty storage solutions for any job site or garage. Right now, get up to 25% off select online storage and organization. Impact, water-resistant totes, and shelving. Built to hold up to 2,500 pounds. Storage systems have space for all your tools and protect them in the garage, on the job site, and everywhere in between.
Pull down there in the establishment. Pull down there.
I mean, for what? For what? Like, what are you doing? The speed limit. I ain't going nowhere. Tripping.
He's directed to pull into the parking lot of a local business, and as he does so, he and his Uber passenger are just sort of beside themselves because they both know that he had done nothing wrong. There was no justification to stop him. But fortunately, everything is caught on his dash cam.
Old detergent. So we switched to Tide Free and Gentle. Tide cleans better than the leading competitor.
How you doing?
And it doesn't leave
Trooper Deanna with the doorstep patrol. The reason for the stop, notice when you came up to the red light, you had your phone in your hand. You got your license?
I didn't have my phone in my hand. I got a camera in my
Okay, you got
phone
your
there.
license. Did you see the guy standing out by the road?
I got a camera in the phone there.
Did you see the guy
I
standing
did
out by
not
the
have
road?
my phone in my hand.
Okay. All right, you still live at 66?
I do.
All right, hang tight.
You didn't have your phone in your hand. I know I didn't. You lying. That's why you gotta have a camera. Cause they be lying. Police be lying. I got a whole camera. It's documented. That's why I got one. Shit like that. Cause they be lying.
Then, after writing what must be the fastest ticket that I've ever seen, the Georgia State Trooper returns. And there's no discussion about the allegations. He doesn't want to see the dash cam. Nothing. He's in a rush, obviously. He just issues the ticket. I wonder how many people this particular officer stopped that day.
All right, you are going to get a ticket. Any questions, call this number, paid on to that website. Sign here, send you a city copy of the citation, I'll make you
my
guilty.
phone in my yard tripping for real. Like, y'all tripping. What do I gotta do? Do I gotta sign this?
You can sign it.
Do I have to sign this?
Yes, sir. You have to go to the jail. Actually, can you leave it together for me? Thank you, sir. Drive safe.
And then afterwards, he knows that they were wrong. He knows that he had done nothing wrong. He has the video, so he does the only thing that we can do, and he exposes what they had just done. He posts his dashcam footage on Facebook. It begins to go viral. People get pissed off. Eventually, somebody at the Georgia State Police saw it. The Georgia State Police then goes and has that ticket dismissed.
The Georgia State Patrol issues an apology after a Houston County man says he received a ticket he did not deserve.
Dixon says he received a phone call Wednesday night from the Georgia Department of Public Safety apologizing for the incident. The representative told Dixon he'd seen the video online and would be tossing out the tickets.
But they still refuse to provide any information about whether the officer or the officers involved are being subject to any discipline for leveling false charges against this individual.
I also reached out to the Georgia Department of Public Safety to confirm what had happened. They released a statement saying, "When a matter regarding one of our troopers is brought to our attention, we take it seriously. Mr. Dixon was contacted directly yesterday by Georgia State Patrol personnel. After further investigation into the incident, the charge against Mr. Dixon was dismissed."
There's a couple big takeaways here. One is that you have to have a dash cam to protect yourself. Police can lie. Police can also be wrong, especially when we're giving them this financial incentive to go stand on our streets and watch us and try to determine whether or not we're holding a phone or just scratching our nose. And then they radio ahead to other cops who then pull us over under threat of violence. They get our ID, they run our background checks, they check for warrants. They're looking in our windows, looking for anything that they deem as contraband. The government is coming into our lives. I mean, we're paying them to do this. This is financing more police cars, more police officers, overtime, all that stuff. That's why I think it's most likely here that either it was a complete scam and they're just saying that they saw people with a phone, or perhaps it was a mistake. But we can see that this trooper who pulled him over, he's not playing games like he wants to search his car. He's not asking him where he was coming from or where he's going. He's not trying to smell marijuana coming out of his car or anything like that. Like, he is speed ticket writing, and he didn't want to hear anything about this guy was not holding his phone. This is a bulk ticket writing mission. The fact is, they don't care if they make mistakes. This is not about public safety. Nobody's lives were saved because they did this. This is about money, not money from the tickets, money to substantiate themselves, their programs. Federal money, big money, way bigger money than any tickets. And hey, if innocent citizens get trampled on in the process, hey, that's just the cost of doing business. They're in no danger of being defunded. They're getting millions and millions and millions of dollars from us to harass us, not in response to any crime, but just to justify their own existence. And that's all the more reason to get a dash cam in order to protect yourself when things like this happen. And I'm working on a video with some dash cam recommendations coming up, so if you want to catch that, please subscribe both here and at the blog at thecivilrightslawyer.com. Our rights don't end where your fear begins. Freedom is scary. Deal with it.